Good afternoon, students. Welcome back. Once again, we are here for another exciting session of medieval history. For the past few days, we are going through the complete series of medieval history. The history made simple, as we call it. So, again, I would like to welcome all of you for this very enjoyable session. So, my friends, as we saw in the last class or a session, we discussed about the founder of a Mughal empire, that is बाबर. हमने मुगल एम्पायर के जो फाउंडर है जिनका नाम था ज़हीरुद्दीन मोहम्मद बाबर, उनके बारे में कल देखा था. बहुत ही एक्साइटिंग बातें देखी थी, बहुत ही यूनिक चीज़ें देखी थी. Now today we are going to discuss about his son and successor, and his name is Nuruddin Humayun, the son and successor, and the eldest son actually of the Babur was Nuruddin Humayun. The meaning of the term Humayun is fortune. Okay, my students, the meaning of the term Humayun is fortune. But practically, Humayun was one of the most unfortunate or unlucky ruler of India. Not only of a Mughal empire, but of the whole Indian history if you take, and among all the rulers of India, you will find Humayun was one of the most unfortunate or unlucky ruler. And if he was unfortunate or unlucky, it was mainly due to his own character and the weaknesses of character also. Okay, he was not as courageous and foresighted as his father. He was not as courageous and foresighted as his father. He basically used to be very generous. Okay? He used to be very generous, which is a virtue actually. But his generosity basically sometimes crossed the wrong sides. Why? Because in case of his own brothers who were against him, once Humayun succeeded the throne of Mughal Empire, a very Mughal empire founded by Babur, and after the death of Babur, the Mughal empire was still in a nascent stage. Okay, this point we have to keep in mind. Mughal empire was still a baby, it was yet to stand on its own feet. तो ऐसे समय जब एम्पायर को संभालना था, ओके, सो एज आई मेंशन कि हुमायूं का जो कैरेक्टर था उसके कुछ चीज़ें वीकनेसेस थे. So his generosity, which is a virtue, so that virtue actually was used by him for wrong people. So his brothers who wanted to snatch a throne from him, against him he was basically generous, and he committed mistakes during his rule, which led to his downfall. This point we have to keep in mind. But as of now, what is the point? As I mentioned, so when Humayun succeeded his father, that is Babur, and we saw in last session that Babur died at Agra. Okay? Babur की डेथ कहाँ पे हुई थी? आगरा में हुई थी. And Humayun was crowned as the emperor of Hindustan at Agra. Just like his father, Humayun was also crowned at Agra. And Humayun was also very young. He was hardly 23 years of age when he became the emperor. And then, as I mentioned, Humayun will face so many of the challenges from different directions. Then, as I mentioned, Humayun will face so many of the challenges from different directions, okay, with regards to his throne. And the very prominent among them was the threat posed by his brothers. Okay? So, when Babur died, Babur had divided his empire among his 4 sons equally. Babur had 4 sons, and Humayun was the eldest. So Babur had also given the equal share to 3 younger brothers of Humayun. And because of that, Kamran, one of the younger brothers of Humayun, he was there in northwest frontier region of the Mughal Empire. Okay? But his other brothers, they had ambitions to grab the whole throne. Okay? His other brothers, they had an ambition to grab the full throne or empire. And for that, they were ready to side with Humayun's enemies. or that they were ready to help the enemies of Humayun. So this was the case. So because of that, basically, Humayun faced the biggest challenge, especially from his brothers initially in initial stages. Then, as we have seen, Babur had defeated Babur had defeated Afghans in the Battle of Ghagra. So Afghans were defeated, but they were not fully crushed. Afghans were defeated, but they were not fully crushed. So again, in the east, that is in Bihar and Bengal, Afghans were raising their head. So, and as we have seen, the very Sher Shah Suri, as we saw in our earlier session, this Sher Shah Suri was going to pose a threat to the Humayun. Then, if you come to west, then in Gujarat and Malwa, the Sultan of Gujarat and Malwa, Bahadur Shah, and as the name suggests, Bahadur Shah was a Bahadur or a brave. So he was also posing a danger to Mughal Empire. And then in Rajasthan or Rajputana, again as we saw, Babur had defeated Rana Sangram Singh and even killed him, the ruler of Mewar. And Babur had also defeated and killed Medine Rai, the ruler of Chandri in Madhya Pradesh. Still, despite the death of these two rulers, there were other Rajput rulers who were again trying to raise their head. Okay. So Humayun was facing a multifarious challenge from different sides. But the real challenge which Humayun was going to face was that even though Babur was able to get victories against his opponents, and even though Babur laid the foundation of a Mughal empire, still Babur could not get time to organize the administration, and the finances of the Mughal empire were very weak because Babur was fighting consistently against different opponents. और जब आप बार बार जंग करते हो तो पैसा बहुत खर्च होता है, जान माल का भी नुकसान होता है, पैसा भी बहुत खर्च होता है. So the finances of the empire were weak and administration was also weak. So with these challenges, basically, Humayun succeeded the throne of Mughal Empire at Agra. But as I mentioned, the biggest challenge which Humayun was going to face in the terms of military invasion or attack, that was from Sher Shah Suri, the founder of Sur dynasty and empire. And that's why you will see the Sher Shah Suri was too heavy, or he was too much for Humayun to handle. Okay, Humayun basically, as I have mentioned, that he was not courageous person. Okay, he was a weak person as far as the administration and military affairs were concerned. But that doesn't mean that Humayun was a coward. Okay? That doesn't mean that Humayun was coward. Definitely, Humayun also resisted. Definitely, Humayun also resisted his opponents. Against some opponents, Humayun had got victory also. But still, due to his weaknesses of a character and lack of administrative and military insights, Humayun was not able to consolidate his throne and empire. So against Sher Shah, Humayun fought two battles. He fought bravely. Okay? Still, he was completely defeated by Sher Shah Suri. In first battle, that is Battle of Chausa, Sher Shah destroyed the Mughal army completely, and Humayun had to flee from the battle scene. Okay? So this point is very crucial. Chausa is a place which comes in Apka UP Bihar area. Okay? This point we have to keep in mind. Then next year again against the Sher Shah Suri, Humayun had to fight another battle. This battle is known as Battle of Kannauj or Bilgram. This battle is known as Battle of Kannauj and Bilgram. So in this Battle of Kannauj or Bilgram, we will see Humayun was not supported by his brothers. Okay? As I mentioned, instead of supporting Humayun, his brothers were ready to help his opponent. So Sher Shah basically, he was able to defeat Humayun. Humayun had to fight again single-handedly, and Sher Shah thoroughly defeated Humayun. And after his defeat against Sher Shah in this Battle of Kannauj or Bilgram, what was going to be the outcome or a result? Not only a defeat, but Humayun became homeless emperor. Humayun lost his Mughal empire completely. And even his brothers also, they were not able to get anything because Sher Shah Suri was too powerful for anyone to handle. Sher Shah even did not spare the Humayun's brothers. So Mughal empire was gone, and now Humayun was a homeless emperor, and he had to wander for next 15 years from here to there. Right? He had to go into exile to save his life. So now you will see that Humayun basically left India, and he turned towards Sindh province of current Pakistan. Okay, and here on the way we will see in 1540-1541, Humayun married his second wife, Hamida Banu Begum. Okay? Humayun was already married, and we will see about his first wife in the end, because there is some interesting aspects associated with his first wives. Okay? So we have to see that later. So now Humayun married his second wife, that is Hamida Banu Begum. She was a daughter of Sheikh Ali Ambar Jani. हामिदा बानो बेगम जो है, उनके फादर का नाम क्या था? शेख अली अंबर जानी. So who was this Sheikh Ali Ambar Jani? Students, we have to know कि ये शेख अली अंबर जानी है कौन थे. तो स्टूडेंट्स, एज वी कैन सी, शेख अली अंबर जानी जो है वो हुमायूं के जो छोटे भाई थे, हिंदाल, द यंगर ब्रदर ऑफ हुमायूं, हिज नेम वाज हिंदाल. So Sheikh Ali Ambar Jani was a tutor, a preceptor to the Zindal. Okay, that we have to keep in mind. Hindal or Zindal, as he was said or called, उनके वो tutor या preceptor थे. Preceptor in the sense spiritual guide, as far as Sheikh Ali Ambar Jani was concerned. तो उनकी बेटी थी हामिदा बानो बेगम. So definitely a very interesting thing, as we can see. And I'm sure you must also be enjoying. I'm sure all of you are enjoying the session, and definitely you will continue to enjoy. Even after the session ends, when you will continue to again take a look into these pages of history, you will continue to enjoy the things. So interesting are the things. So once Humayun married this Hamida Banu Begum, the daughter of Sheikh Ali Ambar Jani, both of them stayed at a place called Amar Court in Sindh. Both of them stayed at a place called Amar Court in Sindh. Amar Court was a small Rajput kingdom or a Hindu kingdom which was ruled by Rana Prasad. There was one Rajput Rana known as Rana Prasad who was ruling Amar Court. And during their stay, we will see, it was the future Mughal Emperor Akbar who was born at Amar Court. On October 15th, 1542, the future Mughal Emperor Akbar was born at the fort of Rana of Amar Court. And then you will see that now Humayun wanted to proceed to Persia or Iran. Humayun wanted to proceed towards Persia or Iran so that he can seek or he can get help from the Persian rulers and he can regain his empire. So when Humayun was about to leave, so Rana of Amar Court, that is Rana Prasad, he promised Humayun that he will help Humayun to conquer Thatta. There is a very strategic place in Sindh known as Thatta. So Rana Prasad said, I will help you, or Prasad promised him that he will help the Humayun to conquer Thatta. Then Humayun left his wife and the newborn Akbar at the very fort of Rana Prasad. Then Humayun went towards Persia, which is today called as Iran. And normally what used to happen? Throughout the history, if you see, the dynasty or rulers of Persia, they were following or they used to follow, and even today Iran is Shia as far as the religious beliefs are concerned. Okay. And Humayun was a Sunni. Humayun was a Sunni Muslim. And the rulers of Persia, they were Shia Muslims. So there was a quite contrast between both of them. Still Humayun sought the help from the ruler of, we can say, Persia. And the empire which was there in Persia at the time, it was called Safavid Empire. This point also we can keep in mind. The empire which was there at that time, it was called as a Safavid Empire. Okay. So the Shah of this Safavid Empire in Persia, His name was Township. His name was Shah Township. This point we have to keep in mind. Shah Township. So he definitely helped the Humayun. He basically gave an asylum to the humanity. He treated Humayun with respect, and he assured that he will provide his army to help the Humayun to take back his throne. Then, with the help of army provided by Shah Tanshab, Humayun defeated his brothers Kamran and Aksari. And at the time, if you see, when Humayun was about to enter India, already Sher Shah Suri had died. And we have seen in our session that how Sher Shah Suri died. We have seen that he ruled only for 5 years, and within 5 years he did wonders. Okay? But unfortunately he could not rule for long. So अगर आप सोचिए खुद ही शेर शाह सूरी अगर लंबे समय चलते तो शायद हुमायूं बेसिकली अपना एम्पायर रीगेन नहीं कर पाते, और शायद इंडिया मुगल एम्पायर फिर से नहीं देख पाता. शायद हम आगे जाके अकबर को देख ही नहीं पाते. जिस अकबर को हम अगले सेशन में पढ़ेंगे वो अकबर शायद हम देख नहीं पाते. सो while understanding the history and while listening to the history, what we have to understand, we have to relate the things. We have to relate the things, and we have to observe. We have to think. So what would have happened if this event would have taken place or would not have taken place? So in that fashion, we can develop a holistic and unbiased view and approach towards history. And when you will go towards higher classes, and when you will start preparing for competitive exams like UPSC or IAS exam, then in such a fashion basically you will have to think regarding history. Well, we cannot take the history only just on a face value. We have to think in this way. And suppose the Sher Shah Suri might have stayed for long, it may not have been possible for the Humayun to re-establish the Mughal Empire, and Indian history would have taken different turn. Okay? But it was not so. It was not going to be, and that's why you will see, due to the untimely death of Sher Shah Suri, the Sura dynasty was declining rapidly. Why? Because as I had mentioned earlier, successors of the Sher Shah Suri, they were weak. शेर शाह सूरी के जो सक्सेसर थे, जिनमें आते हैं इस्माइल शाह सूरी एंड आदिल शाह सूरी, they were weak, and that's why basically Humayun ultimately defeated Afghans. Humayun defeated Afghans, and he was able to recover the Mughal throne. He was able to recover Mughal throne. And what we can keep in mind, originally when Humayun became emperor in 1530, after the death of his father, that is Babur, we had seen that Humayun basically, he had crowned himself at Agra. But a second time when he was able to regain the Mughal throne, Humayun basically crowned himself at Delhi. This part also we can keep in mind. दूसरी बार जब मुगल एम्पायर का थ्रोन उनको मिला अफगान्स को हराने के बाद, हुमायूं ने खुद को कहाँ पे क्राउन किया था? दिल्ली में किया था. ये क्रूशल पॉइंट ध्यान में रखना. ओके, एंड देन यू विल सी again, as we have seen, even though Humayun means fortune, but always the misfortune was carrying or it was chasing the Humayun. So he was not able to enjoy his victory, and he was not able to enjoy his rule as a Mughal emperor. Okay, so within 6 months you will see, on a 27th January 1556, okay, on a 27th January 1556, on a very pleasant winter night of Delhi, Humayun basically, he had finished his dinner and he was basically in his library to read some books. Okay, and while reading the book, he became so immersed in that book, वो उस book में इतना खो गए, that he did not understand that while reading the book, he started walking backward, and he was walking backward in such a way that he came towards one big open balcony without window, and he lost his balance and he failed from the first floor of his library. Okay? And definitely he suffered the injuries and he died. He suffered the injuries and he died. So this was we can say like a very freak end to one of the most what we can say intriguing character of the Mughal Empire as well as Indian history. The character which was having so many complexities, which faced so many challenges in life, and a character which was able to overcome the challenges, but again unable to enjoy the fruits of his, we can say, victories or challenges which were overcome. So this is the case. Now we will see the estimate of Humayun, and definitely these aspects which we are going to discuss, they will be more and more handy for the examination. So as we have said, Humayun, he was not a good general or a warrior, but he was kind and generous. And being kind and generous is very good virtue. But as I have said, this virtue was used by him for the people who are not worthy of that. And that's why he used to face the trouble. But more than that, he was definitely a scholar. Just like his father, he was a scholar. Okay? He basically loved mathematics. He used to enjoy, he had a passion for mathematics, astronomy, and astrology. Okay? He had built an observatory. He had built an astronomical observatory in Delhi. Okay? In Delhi, he had built an astronomical observatory just to watch the movement of the planets or stars. He used to spend nights and nights in observing the stars and planets. Okay? And then he will do the mathematical calculations. Then apart from that, he also loved painting and poetry. Okay? He also loved the painting and poetry. So he used to compose Persian poetry, just like his father. And just like Babur, Humayun also used to compose Persian poetry. And then we will see, since he loved paintings, right? So we will see that Humayun laid the foundations of Mughal paintings when he was staying at Persia at the court of Shah Tanshap. So Humayun basically laid the foundations of a Mughal painting. Humayun brought two famous painters from Persia. Humayun brought two famous painters from Persia. We can see their name, Mir Sayyid Ali. Okay, एक का नाम है मीर सैयद अली, and second one is Khwaja Abud Samad. First one is Mir Sayyid Ali, and second one is Khwaja Abul or Abud Samad. So these two painters which were brought by Humayun from Persia. After the death of Humayun, these painters basically helped the Akbar to establish the paintings department of the Mughal. Once Humayun died, these two painters basically, they helped Akbar, the son of Humayun, to basically expand and flourish the Mughal paintings. And Akbar had established a paintings department. So that was a future thing. Then, as I mentioned, Humayun, even though he was crowned at Agra in a first instance or case, when he again regained his empire, he started ruling from Delhi. And he built 6th city of Delhi. Delhi is made up of 7 cities. Okay? And we have discussed which were the 5 cities of Delhi in our earlier sessions. Throughout the Delhi Sultanate and Sher Shah Suri, we discussed the 5 cities of Delhi. So Humayun built 6th city of Delhi, and it was called Deen Panaha. Okay? It was called Deen Panaha. और दीन पनाह का मतलब क्या होता है? पनाह मतलब शेल्टर. पनाह मतलब शेल्टर, किसी को पनाह देना, ठीक है, शेल्टर देना, आश्रय देना. और दीन पनाह मतलब those who are poor, those who are vulnerable, those who are in the need of help, to them the shelter was given in that city. It was built on the banks of Yamuna. Even today we can visit Delhi and we can see the Deen Panaha. And Deen Panaha is closely located to another famous monument, and that monument is famous as the Dargah and the tomb of one Sufi saint, Sheikh Nijamuddin Auliya. Okay, the most famous Sufi saint of Delhi, Sheikh Nijamuddin Auliya. Due to his name, we have the railway station, Hazrat Nijamuddin railway station. Okay? So very close to this Hazrat Nijamuddin railway station, we have the Deen Panaha of the Humayun and the so-called Sheikh Nijamuddin Auliya's tomb, who was a Sufi saint of Chishti order. Then we will see that, as I said earlier, Humayun had many wives, but his two chief wives were Hamida Banu Begum, and even before Hamida Banu Begum, the very first wife of Humayun was Haji Begum, also called Bega Begum. Okay? हामिदा बानो बेगम से भी पहले हुमायूं की जो सबसे पहली वाइफ थी उनका नाम है हाजी बेगम और बेगा बेगम. So during the time of Akbar, this Haji Begum or a Bega Begum, okay, she requested Akbar that she will like to see one big mausoleum or a tomb for his father and Haji Begum's husband, that is Humayun. And that's why you will see, under the supervision of Haji Begum or a Bega Begum, in 1569, Humayun's tomb was built during the time of Akbar. हाजी बेगम या बेगा बेगम के सुपरविजन के अंडर हुमायूं टॉम को बिल्ड किया गया था दिल्ली में अकबर के टाइम में. एंड हुमायूं टॉम इज वन ऑफ द वंडर्स ऑफ आर्किटेक्चर. एंड अगेन वेन एवर वी विजिट दिल्ली we get to see the beautiful Humayun tomb. Many of you might have seen that. If you have visited Delhi, you must have seen that. Those who haven't, definitely you will get an opportunity. Then you should go and you should visit tomb of Humayun. A very beautiful tomb. And then we will see last interesting aspect about Humayun, that Humayun had two sisters. The name of first sister was Gul Badan Begum and the other one was Gul Rukh Begum. Humayun had two sisters. One was Gul Badan Begum and another was Gul Rukh Begum. So the Gul Badan Begum, she wrote a biographical account of her brother. Gul Badan Begum, she wrote a biographical account of her brother, that is Humayun, and it is called Humayun Nama. It is called Humayun Nama. Okay, and कौन सी लैंग्वेज में लिखा गया है हुमायूं नामा? पर्शियन लैंग्वेज पे. सो गुलबदन बेगम ने पर्शियन लैंग्वेज में हुमायूं नामा लिखा अपने भाई के लिए और वो एक बायोग्राफी है. एंड फाइनली वी हैव टू सी दैट वंस हुमायूं डाइड, एज वी सॉ अर्लियर, दैट ही डाइड ड्यू टू दैट फ्रीक एक्सीडेंट्स व्हेन ही लॉस्ट द बैलेंस फ्रॉम द स्टेयरकेस ऑफ द फर्स्ट फ्लोर ऑफ हिज लाइब्रेरी. सो ही वाज बuried at a Humayun tomb. He was buried at Humayun tomb. Even the Humayun tomb was built later. Right? So when the tomb was completed, Humayun was basically buried in the tomb, okay, along with his two principal wives. हुमायूं की जो two main wives थी, हाजी बेगम, जब उनकी भी डेथ हुई थी, ऑब्वियसली हुमायूं तो पहले उनकी डेथ हुई थी, बाद में जब हाजी बेगम की डेथ हो गई, उनको भी उसी हुमायूं टॉम कॉम्प्लेक्स में ही बरी किया गया. एंड डेफिनेटली सेकंड वाइफ ऑफ हुमायूं एंड मदर ऑफ अकबर, दैट इज हामिदा बानो बेगम, शी हैज ऑल्सो बीन बरीड as far as the Humayun tomb is concerned. So this was a very interesting aspect and very important from exam perspective also with regards to the second Mughal emperor, that is Humayun. Okay, so in that fashion we have to see these interesting things will make the history interesting, and permanently we are able to get the idea about the Indian history and how the Indian history unfolded. Okay? And as I mentioned, it will not be useful only for the examination, but throughout our life. We can just study, we can just understand, and we can just recall. And whenever the need arises, we can use the very aspects of history for our current aspects or current problems or solving the current challenges. Okay? And definitely we can give some kind of legacy for our future generations. So today we will like to stop here only. Again, I will come back with one more interesting aspect in our next series, that means the next episode of Akbar, the son of Humayun. Okay? And Akbar will also be equally interesting the way we have seen the Babar and Humayun. Till then, goodbye, have a good day, enjoy.